Good afternoon everybody and welcome. And I've just done this video, but for some reason it didn't go through. It stopped halfway through, so I'm redoing it because this message needs to come out. And I've been getting downloads for the last few days now. And the song Light Up by Snow Patrol coming through. And I would have been on a little bit sooner, but I've been settling a new addition into our household. A little Siberian 8-week-old husky. And her name is Luna. And I shall tell you the story, how we came to find the name Luna. And it was from a meditation. And my guide's coming through to me yesterday morning, was it? I think so, yeah, the other morning. I was meditating, as I always do, first thing in the morning. And my guides and my angels came through and spoke, we have sent Luna to you all. And I was like, Luna? Who's Luna? But my son was in the process of going to pick up Luna, but we'd not named her. We didn't have a name for her at that point. Luna was one of the names, but Nala was pretty much in the top choices of names for her. But after I got that download from my spirit guides, and I told my son as soon as he walked through the door, because I was, that excited that her name was Luna. He was like, "Okay, Mum, we'll call her Luna." I said, "She's a Luna. She's sent to us." And my spirit guides said that, my son knows who I am and what I do, so he doesn't dispute it. But yeah, so we've got another little addition. She's settling and lovely, but I've not been able to come online and do the download because I've been settling little Luna in, and she seems to have settled now. So this kept coming through, spirit never ever sleeps. I have to do what I'm here to do, and that's to get these messages across. So there was guiding me to the Lemurian cards, and I just wanted to take this image in, and it's light up. Now this card don't get any more lighter, if you ask me. You can see all the light coming through. I want you to take this symbol in, and it's the solar plexus. The solar plexus chakra, it is the chakra of our determination, our power, where we get that drive from, to keep pushing through obstacles, keep pushing through chaos, keep pushing through the hard times. Now I know why I drew this card. At first I was a bit, what's this got to do with light up? But pretty soon the channeling comes through. Yeah, makes sense completely. The solar plexus is our chakra of determination. That is where that spark comes from to light us up. That drive, that where we push through obstacles. And I've also wrote the automatic writing down. So light up, Snow Patrol song. To me, it represents finding your light, your strength and connection in the darkness. And the light is your way out of the dark. So spiritual awakening. It's very, very dark place, very lonely, very isolating. And if you've been following me, you'll know that I speak of this journey because I've come through it. I'm not out of it by no means, but I'm out of the dark parts of this journey without a doubt. I've done the work, done the healing, I've gone into these chakras, I've opened my solar plexus chakra, I've worked on all of my chakras, my rainbow bridge, that heaven to earth. I've worked on all of them. I've lit myself up, I found this light inside of me. That's because I did the work, did the healing. So the lyrics, light up, as if you have a choice, represent finding your light even in the most chaotic of times. Yeah, spiritual awakening, twin flame connections, you don't get any more chaotic than, you know, these awakenings. I can speak of the twin flame one because I am a twin flame, but, you know, it is a spiritual awakening, but I can't speak of all spiritual awakenings, you know, being twin flame. But everybody who has a spiritual awakening, yeah, it's a hard path. It is chaotic. It turns your world upside down. And it's meant to. And it's meant to turn it upside down to get, you know, to rebuild yourself inside out. You know, it's not just an external job. No, you've got to go inside. And that is where your true light is found. You know, this light that's just shining through. It's where your power's found. It's where your determination's found, your courage, your strength, all of that. Yeah, it's meant to. It's meant to break you down, to build you up, you know, stronger. You get to become stronger, more resilient, more courageous. And the line, even if you cannot hear my voice, I will be right beside you, dear. And, you know, that line when it came out, I was like, yeah, there was many times I couldn't hear, you know, what I was meant to hear. You know, I could hear my angels, I could hear my spirit team. I knew something was guiding me. I just wasn't quite sure at that point of what was guiding me. I didn't know if I was losing my mind at that point, being honest, or something, you know, spiritual was caring. But everything was pointing to the spiritual. It was out of the normal for me. You know, I'd never experienced anything like it before in my life. Nothing. So yeah, so for me, that represents my angels and spirit team, also my twin flame, you know. Yeah, you just had a deeper knowing of something guiding you, you know, that connection to something. You have that deeper knowing. It's a knowing. When anybody asks me, how do you know you're speaking to spirit? How do you know you're a twin flame? The word knowing. It's a deeper knowing. You just can't escape it, you know. And it hits every part of your life, and it does start turning everything upside down. And yeah, you know, like that connection to something you feel, hear, but can't see. You feel it guiding you in times of pain and emotional turmoil. And yeah, I've wrote down, it's a deeper knowing. That is the best way that I can describe it. Even though when people are saying, you know, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, do you see things? Do you just put this light on? Whoop. Oh, I've lost my card now. Won't be a moment. Hang about. This is what happens in real time. Yeah, that's better. Got more light on the subject. They're saying light it up, Ellie. And I was like, I forgot to put my light on. And they're like, light up. Yeah, you know, sometimes, even in, you know, my darkest of times, yeah, I had to light up, you know, I had to come back to my power. I had to find this light inside of me. I had to find different ways to light myself up, you know. I had to keep going back to things what I'd already tried, and, you know, and I had to just keep on healing. Even though, you know, sometimes I couldn't, like that lamb, you know, that connection to something you feel, you hear, but you can't see. Yeah, it's very, very confusing. It might have been better if I could have seen my angels, my spirit team, my ancestors. There was a particular experience, which I will talk about one day, but that's still quite it's out of there, you know, it's out of this world, let's put it that way, but this connection it's very, very out of the world connection. You do get some out of the world things happening. I've experienced it, but yeah, at one point I did see my, you know, the other part of my connection, but we wasn't in the physical. So yeah, very, very out of this world things can happen on this path. I've experienced it. I wouldn't speak of it if I've not experienced it. I speak of it now because I've worked on my solar plexus chakra. I'm in the state of power, you know. I'm determined to get these messages out there, even though I get judgment. Still I get, you know, disbelief of naysayers and all of that. That's the asleep, you know. They're asleep. The ones that judge you, they're asleep, or maybe just waking up, you know. I get that, but I'm meant to wake people up also. That's what I do many, many things as part of being an ancient soul, one of the chosen ones. That doesn't mean from an ego, that just means that I chose to come here. I hold DNA strands inside of me that hold a powerful frequency for Earth's ascension at this time to help others. And I chose to come here as a soul. I chose this mission. Yeah, I chose this. And even though I can't remember choosing it, my soul remembers. It's all coming back to me, and it's all come back to me because I've decided to light up this timeline. I am lighting up. I'm finding the light inside of me. I'm meant to. I chose to come here to light up, not just light myself up, but to light others and to show them the way, to show them their light inside of them, to show them they can have determination, you know. Be very, very, very powerful, illuminated beings, not everything that we have been told or programmed to believe what we are, but the light beings that we all are, you know, this light inside of us, we all hold this light. Very powerful. Yeah, I've done the work. This is how I know this. So, yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, you know, nothing seen, but very much feel and hear and guarded. Yeah, when people say, well, how do you know? You know, friends and family say, well, what oracle cards do you know to go to? How do you know when it's time to go online? It's a knowing. When you're guarded and you're very much aware, because you've come into that knowing of, you know, your gifts inside of you, the light that you hold inside of you. You've done the work. Not just this chakra have I healed, but I have healed all of my chakras. Every one of them. You know, the rainbow bridge. I've healed the full spectrum. And this card, I drew this card before coming online also. And I wondered why am I going to be speaking about the full spectrum if this card, you know, was the first card to come out? That's why. This is how I'm guided. I don't even know sometimes, most of the time, what will come through until I start channeling. And then I'm just like this open channel, and I'm an open channel to spirit because I've worked through all of my chakras. The angels work through my chakras, you know, to channel the messages to get to you. The full spectrum. I've worked on the full spectrum of my chakras. The rainbow bridge. That then connects me to not only earth, but to heaven. The rainbow bridge. If you caught my series on the rainbow bridge, that was channeled through spirit. They wanted me to work from the root chakra all the way to the crown. That is what I have been doing the last 20 years since starting yoga, is working up my, you know, from my root chakra to my sacral, to my solar, to my heart, to my throat, to my third eye, to the crown, to connection to spirit. Heaven and earth. We are that bridge, they say. So, yeah, spirit, you know, knows what they're doing. Even though sometimes I'm okay. I have to go with it, you know, because, yeah, very, very, very much guarded. And when you open up all your chakras and you start coming from a place of power and determination and pushing through any obstacles that come at you on this path, that's when your connection between the heaven, you know, the heaven and the earth, that's your full spectrum. That's the rainbow bridge, you know. That's the full connection to spirit and earth that comes through. So let's get back to the downward. So yeah, nothing seen but very much heard and felt and guided. Yeah, I'm used to this path now also. I've been on it over 7 years now. So I'm used to feeling guided. I'm used to the nudges that spirit leaves me, the numbers, the signs, synchronicities, you know, used to all of that now, the music coming through. At first I just thought, I've just got a jukebox going on in my head, a constant, on the loop jukebox. Yeah, at times I was just like, wow, turn this off, you know, but I couldn't. Why? It was time to light up. Couldn't go back. It was time to wake up. And the minute I woke up to knowing that, you know, something spiritual was occurring, the minute I woke up to that, my light started to break through. You know, it started to come through these cracks, and it started to filter out, and pretty much soon it got bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, and then it reached out to other people. I've always reached out to other people. I've always been a guiding light for others, sisters, family, friends, all of that. I've always been that that energy that people, you know, radiate to. But I didn't know how much I was going to have to reach out, you know, on this path. Didn't know that until I'd healed all, you know, my full spectrum. Didn't know that. I do now. Become that bridge for people, that heaven and earth, to show them the way that I've already journeyed by finding my light and working through my chakra system daily, you know, daily, hard work, removing obstacles, you know, inside these chakras also, obstacles that are, you know, blocks from past lives and trauma and wounds. Going through all of that, facing my shadows, all of that, to find my light. And yeah, your solar plexus chakra, very, very powerful chakra. Come from determination. You know who you are. You know who you are with this solar plexus chakra all lit up. You know that. You can't be swayed by people telling you, you know. Yeah, you know who you are. Once you've done this healing, full spectrum. And I'll just read a little bit off the card. And personal power. So this card is radiant illumination. Yeah, you illuminate. You become an illuminator for others as well. You illuminate to them what they need healing, you know. Yeah, you're that light in the dark for others. Independence, self-discipline, confidence, assertiveness, decision-making, belief, intellectual abilities, expression of will, bringing ideas into reality. Yeah, you start knowing, you know, that what you think and what you speak, you create. You start knowing that you are the creator, you know, and yeah, you stop playing small. You know your worth at this point. You're very secure in yourself, you know. You allow yourself to be attuned to the abundant life force that resides within this centre, and be energised, motivated, fueled with inspiration, infused and clear-minded, so you can bring forth more of yourself, of what you wish to birth in the world. As you discover a deep and real sense of self-empowerment, you can more confidently lift others in celebration, harmonising differences and shifting hierarchical paradigms into collective co-creation. Yeah, if you've been following me, you'll know that I speak of the hierarchy and the suppression and the old paradigms of the old earth falling away and the new the new paradigms and the way showers and the light workers that are bringing those new paradigms to people, and twin flames, you know, leading. Yeah, very, very powerful stuff when we work on our chakras and we become that bridge. We know who we are, we know what we're here for. There's no disputing what we came back here for. We're coming from a place of pure you know, worthiness. We know who we are, we know our worth, you know all of that, and you know what you came here for. Now, turn to this card. See, Spirit's talking. Evolution. Evolution. Yeah. You know you came here to evolve, for your soul to evolve. You know that. You know, I know that I'm here to like this DNA strands here. I know that DNA has come back to me, you know, the remembrance. My strands of DNA. I know that. I can speak light language. That's an ancient language, you know, it's soul language. That is in my DNA. So when I started working and healing on my chakra system, many years, not days or months, many years, then my soul started to evolve, you know. The remembrance of who I really was, why I came here, what I'm here for. My DNA started to recompute, I call it, because that's how it feels, you know, like I'm being recomputed. And I could actually feel the DNA in me, and it was like a feeling of shockwaves going through my body, you know, very, very powerful, feeling energy. But yeah, definitely soul evolving. I'll just read a little bit from that card, and I'm sure the Lemurians will bring some light language through. So look, 24. Growth, overcoming challenges, gracefully riding the waves of life, expanding out of a problem, flourishing in the face of change, thriving in new environments, being unperturbed. What does personal evolution mean to you? It is about growth, expansion, adaptation, success, or becoming a better version of yourself. Perhaps it speaks to an ability to move through difficulties. However good we are at surfing the waves of life, we all face surging tides of challenging ups and downs at times. Yeah, every one of us, we all go through obstacles in life. The spiritual path, you know, it's meant to wake us up and shift us into more knowing, you know, of who we really are, and of who not the human self is, you know, but we are also divine. So yeah, it's that evolving, you know, that evolving of our soul, you know, it's soul evolution. And when you start spiritually awakening, yeah, all of this DNA, you know, comes back to you. The more you get further down on this path, then more of that's what's been hidden, you know, returns to you when you do the work on your chakras, you know, the full spectrum. That's when I knew I'd balanced out all my chakras, you know, and I'd created that heaven and earth connection. That's when I felt these powerful surges going through my body, and I could feel like the DNA was being recomputed, or recalibrated. I could feel it, actually feel it, but it did shock me. I'm going to be honest, it did shock me because it was more powerful than what I'd felt previous. But I could tell I was each healing, you know, each wounds and traumas I was pushing through and obstacles, I could tell that I was elevating more, you know, the energy was getting more powerful. Could tell that, could feel it in my body. and yeah, and I could feel this light growing, more powerful by the day, you know. I could feel my determination more and more coming online to stay on this path, you know, because there's been times I've wanted to get off it because of judgment from others and all of that, you know, what comes on the spiritual awakening path. But by, you know, working on my solar plexus, I stood in my power, I stood in my truth, and I'm so glad I did, and I still do, you know, because I do get people judging and all of that. I'm used to this. It's made me stronger, you know. It's just made me more stronger, and it fuels me. Yeah, it fuels me. It gives me more determination. When people say, well, that's not real, or what do you mean, you know, and I don't understand, and I don't judge them, you know, for not understanding me, because how can they possibly understand what I understand? We're all different, you know, we're meant to be. I'm just very open to spirit, because I've done the work. I was not always like this. I had to do the work. I had to go through them chakra, you know, through that chakra system. I had to do all that. Yeah, and this at the bottom reminds me of the Merkaba star. I don't know if I've got one down here. I think it's upstairs. But also the Merkaba star came into my knowing. And as I know, the Lemurians used to use the Merkaba star for transportation to other dimensions, you know. And again, you know, that came into my knowing, which I'd not known before. So again, with the DNA strands, that was coming back to me, you know, that knowing of other things, you know, from my past life, and more gifts coming online. The more that I did the healing and stood in my power and bridged, you know, that heaven and earth, the more of my DNA came back. Yeah, could feel it. Very powerful. When you get to this stage of your journey, very powerful. You know you've done the work when you're at this stage where you yeah, and you when my light language came through, I thought, wow, it's that multi-dimensional part of me now, you know. I've had knowings, I've had little snippets that Lemuria was part of my past life, shaman, medicine healer, twin flame, 144, you know, little snippets, but it was just jigsawing them pieces together. And the more, like I say, you work on your system, your chakra system, you know, that's cleansing, purging, healing, more of that DNA returns to you. So your multidimensional knowing, you know, of self returns to you. Yeah, and then your gifts return. All of that. Yeah, so evolution, you know, growth, facing those challenges. Yeah, I think that's what they're saying with light up, light up. It doesn't matter what challenges we have to face. If you keep pushing through them, you know, with determination. So they're saying to work on your solar plexus chakra, you know, that's your state of power, your determination, feeling your worthiness, you know. So these cards, very powerful activations, the symbols also. So they just want you to take this in. And we're going to finish with a little bit of light language. And if you stayed this long, thank you. I do try and keep them shorter now, but the channeling just channels the way it is. Akaya eo shotoya ea sia ke ono ea makasia teo e shotoya maya he papawa e sokoya ne heo shoto heo shoto heo shoto. power, power, and more power, you know. Stand in your own power and your own knowing, your worthiness. The message here is solar plexus chakra. Work with crystals to help your solar plexus chakra. So like carnelian, citrine, you know, yellow, fiery crystals, that's citrine. Carnelian, that's orange. Tiger's eye, very, very grounding. I always speak about grounding also, you know, because when we do come connected to heaven, you can become a bit disorientated and a bit spacey and out there and feel a bit like you're not on planet Earth, which happened to me for a long, long time until I started to ground. And that's, yeah, perfect tiger's eye for grounding. Also to bring in courage and bravery, to keep pushing for our obstacles. I just wanted to take this card in. Yeah, so the message here, chakra system. Start working on your chakras, purging, cleansing, clearing, you know, all stagnant energy out of them. So that's with foods and water, you know, clean water, filtered water, fresh foods, you know, all of that, what you can. Spirit says, you know, that things can be hard for us, but do the best you can, you know. Also yoga, exercise, what fills you up, you know, what lights you up, they're saying. Everybody's different. Mine's yoga, mine's qigong, meditation, but everybody's different. So you work on your system with things that work for you. You know, that could be the gym, that could be running, could be walking, anything like that. But it's all serves, you know, to light you up, the saying. And when you light up, your DNA also lights up. When your DNA lights up, the remembrance of you and your gifts return. I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you enjoyed this channeled message from the Lemurians, but I'm going to try and keep them short. But again, I keep repeating it because, yeah, I know TikToks are scrolling, but again, it's not about how many viewers I can have, it's about getting the message out there. So thank you if you like, you share and you follow, and you help me get these messages out to as many people as I can. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. There's many, I don't know, you know, might not be in the thousands of viewers or followers, but that doesn't make any difference to me, because it's not about that, you know. It's about getting the message out there and being authentic and real and speaking about my journey and helping others by speaking about my journey. And if I'm doing that, then I'm in my full spectrum, you know. Yeah. If I'm doing that, I'm lighting it up, the saying. I'm lighting it up. I'm lighting the way for others, which was the plan all along. Light myself up first, then light others up. Show the light for others. Show them what's possible when they do the work. There you go. I shall leave it there, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye.